Chris, I want to touch upon a point you made about, it's equality made, I'm paraphrasing here, so pardon me if I'm misquoting you, but a bit will also depend on who pays for the inspection. And I had a slight smile when you say that, because when I was working at a charterers previously, we used to always lament that when we use a platform, for example, your employers, sometimes we don't know how objective or whether or not there's any bias in the inspection outcomes, because you make money from both sides, right? You get money from the charterers to pay for the inspection, and the owners also, I think, pay a fee to you. So this, and I think that's a real thing that you mentioned, right? Does it matter who pays for the inspection, and how do we deal with bias through the inspection process? Is technology really a solution, or is there algorithmic bias that we then also have to be aware of? Just wondering what, maybe Chris and George first?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, quite a lot in there to unpack. I mean, first of all, I think in terms of who's paying for the inspection, I think, if you're hiring someone to come on and investigate an incident, an accident, and you're really looking for something to put in front of an insurer or to support your case, then obviously there can be a bias come into that. You specifically sort of talked about sort of Rightship inspections. I think from the Rightship side, we really, it's underpinned by a standard, the Rightship inspection checklist. As James said, it's really important in terms of having that standard, that consistency. Our inspections, despite being paid by the owners, the operators, it's there as a tool to recognize performance, the quality of the assets, and ultimately, yes, for the operator to be able to market their vessel. But it's also really important for the charterer, the ports and terminals, to have an awareness of risk. So underpinning, a strong inspection regime would be good governance, good standards. As an example, with our own inspections, we accredit all our inspectors. We obviously have a network of inspectors we use, but ensuring a consistent standard of them is really important. Getting feedback from the vessels when they've had the inspection, so we can take action if there has been any sort of bias creeping in from individual inspectors, revoking accreditation of inspectors, auditing and maintaining that standard. So I wouldn't say there will be no bias, and that there will be occasions where things don't go quite right. But I think the underpinning governance and value and credibility of an inspection regime and inspection standard, and the role it plays in the marketability of the vessel and decision making by different stakeholders, I think it's key. But I think, yeah, it really depends on a lot of factors of who's conducting the inspections, the different sort of idols out there. But I think it's why organizations that are doing a large volume but have that sort of underpinning can then build up trust in that, rather than maybe independent inspections that may have more of a bias creeping in.
Anything to add, George?
I think that last point about scale is critical here. Something that Rightship has and we have in Idwal is that ability to get the feedback from the clients, because the reports are used extensively throughout the industry. Regularly we get questions about our grading system, how these things work. We get the feedback. We implemented crew welfare grading about 1.5 years ago now, and there's a lot of feedback coming in on that, etc. But I think, the scale allows you to get the feedback, which allows you to improve. I think one of the critical things here as well is that you sort of raised this point about who's paying and where does it go effectively, because in theory you can do one inspection and that could be used by the financier, the charterer, the insurer. The problem is each of those people has a different requirement. And I sort of battle with this a lot. If you were to have one inspection, who would instruct that inspection? So yes, you can have it with an impartial body doing it, but who instructs it? Is it the ship manager? So that, well, if it's a third-party manager, they can justify their performance to the owner. If it's an internal manager, it becomes a little bit more controversial, because they may be more aligned with the owner etc. So the impartiality of the surveyor of the report is critical, but it's very hard to find the right person who should always instruct the inspection across the industry.